In this episode, there are explicit descriptions of sexual assault, home invasion, and attempted murder. If you yourself are a survivor of trauma, this story may be particularly difficult to hear. Listener discretion is advised. From the producers of That's Life comes a show about survival, about people who have endured the unthinkable and survived to share their tale. These are their stories.
I'm Kyle Fields, and this is the Survivor Series. It was a typical hot Houston, Texas night. April 15th, 1995. The city was vibrant, pulsing, and throbbing as 25-year-old Jennifer Morey was out for an evening with her friends. They dined and laughed together, discussing the stories of their lives, their dreams, and the drama of their 20s. For Jennifer, the atmosphere was euphoric. She was feeling liberated, warm in the glow of friendship. She had no inkling that the facade of a celebratory evening would suddenly dissipate, plunging her into a nightmare she could hardly have imagined. Later that night, when she came home to her cozy second-floor apartment at the Bayou Park Apartments, the warm familiarity surrounded her. The complex was touted as a secure haven, supported by the promise of professional security guards patrolling the property. Jennifer felt so secure in her home, where she could unwind after a long day and let the world's worries outside her door disappear. She shut and locked her door, changed into her pajamas, and climbed into bed, allowing herself to drift off to sleep. Yet, lurking in the shadows of the same sanctuary was a presence bent on annihilating her sense of security. The cruelties of the world outside her door were preparing to invade. Before dawn, Jennifer was awakened by the stuff of nightmares, a weight on her chest, and the icy steel of a knife at her throat. The terror that flooded her veins was suffocating, drowning out any remnants of the safe world that she believed she inhabited. Struggling with the overwhelming panic, she was confronted by a stark reality. She was not in the security of her home, but trapped in a strange fight for survival. This is Jennifer's story. A safe place that wasn't so safe. Jennifer had chosen the Bayou Park Apartments for their reputation for safety and community. The gated entrance, the high walls, the welcoming promises of guards patrolling the grounds all were designed to offer a shield. When she first moved in, she'd experienced a wave of relief wash over her. As a young woman who lived alone in the big city, she enjoyed the freedom that her new apartment had to offer. as well as the feeling of protection. But beneath that promised protection were flaws. Flaws that Jennifer was unaware of. The night she returned home with a light heart was a bitter reminder that things are not always as they appear. That the people who are meant to keep you safe, they end up being your worst nightmare. The man who had volunteered to watch over the tenants, Brian Gibson, was not a faceless stranger. He was someone Jennifer might even have trusted. The quiet of Jennifer's sleep was shattered in a moment as she awoke with a jolt, her body pinned down in a way that left her breathless. Confused and frightened, she opened her eyes to be met only by darkness and the chilling glint of a knife held to her throat. Time in that emptiness seemed to stretch out, and her senses became heightened. The adrenaline coursed through her body, canceling out everything. All the moments of her life flashed before her eyes. Her childhood memories, laughter with friends, dreams about a future, even the memories she created that night before everything happened, all overshadowed by the horror of the reality of her life at that moment. Don't move, and you won't get hurt, the man snarled, his deep voice threatening. Her body trembled to struggle, but she was too frightened to move. Despite being consumed by fear, Jennifer instinctively knew how grave her situation was. She had to keep herself alive. As he pressed down harder, she called upon all the splinters of strength and instinct she could find. Some primal voice inside her urged her to strike back. Fueled by an unbeatable urge to live, she struggled against the pressure of his body, wrestling with each ragged scrap of breath she could find. Amidst the chaos of despair, a fierce anger blazed hot inside of her. This was her house, her sanctuary, and she was not going to let it become her tomb. The fight raged on, the two of them performing a ghastly waltz of life and death. He slashed at her, opening gashes that would leave her flesh permanently marked. But even as the warm blood flowed down her neck, Jennifer would not yield. She found strength in her terror, using it to fuel her fight. She could not let him witness her surrender. She could not lose. Just when Jennifer had given up all hope, Brian shoved her into the bathroom. The details of that horrific transition were a blur, but she clung to the ever-present realization that she could not give in to the forces that were trying to extinguish her life. All around her melted into nothingness. Her world narrowed in on survival. Then, as abruptly as the attack began, there was a reprieve. For some reason, her assailant fled, and Jennifer was left, gasping for breath. semi-conscious, teetering on that fine line between life and death. In the moments that passed, Jennifer was greeted by an agonizing awareness. She was alive, but not for long if she didn't act quickly. Weak, bleeding, and trembling, she forced herself to expend what energy she had and press her back against the bathroom door. She needed to buy time to protect whatever piece of safety still remained within those four walls. She grabbed her phone and dialed 911. Her hands shaking but determined. I need help, she managed to whisper, horror tearing at her stomach. Someone tried to kill me. The dispatcher's voice broke in, a lifeline, ordering her to stay conscious, hang in there. Help was coming. Then suddenly, there was a knock on her door. It's security, a voice on the other side called, calm and even. I heard screaming. Is everything okay? Panic arose again. A nagging doubt crept into her mind. How had they arrived there so quickly? Where were the police? Why had she not heard sirens? Unbeknownst to her, the very idea of safety that she held on to was going to be shattered. Instinct kicked in. Don't open the door, the dispatcher begged. Jennifer trembled, her heart racing, as she felt instinct scream that something was wrong. She was silent, her breath shallow, the truth echoing in the back of her mind. This was not someone to be trusted. The seconds dragged on as she waited, breathless. The thuds of her own heartbeat resounding in her ears. Every moment felt enormous, and she could not afford one false step. By the time the police got there, Jennifer was semi-conscious, but alive. The officers immediately took control, securing the scene and calling for an ambulance. They found her on the bathroom, covered in blood. As they assessed her wounds, her body, a testament to what she had endured, became evident. In the days that followed, as police began to investigate, shocking facts started to unravel. The intruder who had entered Jennifer's life was not an anonymous figure, but Brian Gibson, the gun-toting security guard who was meant to be her protector. For Jennifer, the betrayal was devastating. The person entrusted with keeping her safe had turned predator. Even more disturbing was the fact that after attacking her, Gibson had attempted to play the role of the concerned friend. He had knocked on her door, feigning concern, in an effort to manipulate the situation to his advantage. If she had opened that door, there was no question he would have been able to finish his gruesome act, sent waves of nausea crashing over her. How could someone so manipulative, so abusive, be put in a role such as his. But Jennifer knew this was not the end of her story. See, Jennifer's fight for survival did not conclude with her rescue. The physical wounds healed over time, but the emotional scars remained, creating a complex weave filled with fear, anger, and resilience. The ordeal she had endured altered her in ways that she could not initially comprehend. Instead of allowing the assault to define her, she chose to redefine her narrative. See, Jennifer became an advocate for women's safety and survivor of violence. She began speaking out publicly about trusting intuition and the facade of security that deceives us. Each voice spoke volumes as she shared her story, saying that awareness and readiness could spare lives. Her platform became a means to empower others, casting light on the secrecy that shrouds discussions of violence and security for women. She converted her pain into service by her activism, addressing local groups, organizations, and conferences to educate people on personal safety. He became a source of inspiration for other victims of violence, informing them that they were not alone. And by the way, if you ever feel like you are alone, you are not alone. As victims, as survivors of any type of violence, you are not alone. At the very least, I am here for you. Jennifer Morey didn't choose this path of survival, but she embraced it. She discovered strength where she never thought that she had any, and embarked on a painful path towards healing and empowerment. Jennifer's story is one of strength, survival, and instinct. She battled the nightmares that came into her life, and in doing this, she created a life of hope and advocacy. Despite being attacked by the one person who was meant to protect her, she emerged not as a victim, but as a survivor. Her story is one of strength that continues to inspire many others today. Her story is a firm reminder that our intuition is powerful even when all hope is lost and we are in the darkest of places. We have the light within all of us to fight back. Join us next week when we recount the unbelievable story of Roy Sullivan. If you've never heard of him, get ready, because he is the park ranger who lived to tell the story after he was struck by lightning 7 times. Another story of survival, another testament to the strength of the human spirit. Thank you so much for listening. This has been the Survivor Series, and I'm Kyle Fields. Until next time.